The Ochinto Vedabhed school of Bhakti tradition has a number of anti-Advaita arguments which they have actually inherited from the likes of, say, Ramanujacharya and Madhuvacharya. The status which we find, the bhakti status assigned to the concept of Ishwar or ultimate God is pivotal to understanding the different ways bhakti has been understood in the various traditions, and notably in the Ochinto Vedabhed tradition. Now, look, the framing of the syntactical nature of the idea of bhakti. As you know, bhakti, this idea of bhakti as involving Ishwar as a distinct object of bhakti and bhakta as a distinct agent of bhakti, and above all, the bhakti yoga itself as the performance of devotional acts in a phenomenal world, give rise to different interesting philosophical scenarios. In understanding bhakti, particularly the Krishna bhakti as mentioned in the Bhagavad, the perennial impulse to defend the ultimacy of Ishwar can perhaps also be understood as a reflection of the deep devotion of the Vaishnavas and also the eternality of the loving relationship with Ishwar that they envision for themselves forevermore. They will vigorously contest any suggestion that, say, Ishwar has been imagined by the Jivatma under the spell of avidya. They just go on contesting the idea of avidya and ultimately the concept of Maya, as Maya proclaimed by the Advaita Vedantists. Here, after presenting their personalist, individualist, realist, and even the monotheist arguments, they conclude that since the distinction between Ishwar as the support of Maya and the Jivatma who is being deluded by Maya is established, it can be concluded that devotional activity, which they call bhajan, bhakti and etc., is the method of attaining perfection. Here you will find that the main concern of their bhakti ideas are to marshal philosophy and hermeneutics in support of bhakti as both method and goal. They see it as the method and they also see it as the goal, aren't they? Now, if you look into the Bhagavats, you will find that its verdict on these different possible monistic and monotheistic readings of the Vedanta texts, which they consider strictly written by Rishi Vyas or Rishi Badarayan. Both these rishis, even after elaborating the sutras and slokas of Vedanta, are not happy and appear despondent, as according to the Bhagavad chroniclers, both these rishis, the Rishi Vyas and Rishi Badarayan, they have not clearly, unambiguously elaborated on Ishwar as the highest and eternal reality. Here, my Thakur's idea of tripti, or the idea of satisfaction, the ultimate satisfaction, the sense of contentment, I should say. This idea of tripti plays a very important role in understanding the outcome of karma, especially the karma according to the bhakti yoga. Look, you must notice that here the idea of Tripti is a very broad, vast, and expansive concept related to peace and blissfulness and joy. Here I am tempted to classify the broad idea of Tripti into three different compartments, and these three different compartments may or may not overlap according to the spiritual temperament of the Bhakta. But in my Thakur's case, all these three compartments distinctly and powerfully overlap just to give you the ultimate Tripti in one go. Now, first the Tripti from worldly pleasures. This zone of Tripti in accordance with the Jagrata state, this is the Tripti zone of the Sthula Sharir or the Dehi. Then you find the second zone of Tripti, which I find the Tripti in the Shapna Jagat or the dream state. You may call it gratification or even satisfaction. This Tripti is for the Videhi or those who have left the material body and are now in Sukha Sharir. This Tripti you may find is quite tremendously voluminous and handsomely oversized in comparison to the Tripti one can derive with the help of the Sthula Sharir. But the final and the highest sense of Tripti, I call it absolute saturation or unconditional and downright completion, or the ultimate sense of contentment, It can come only when you are in the Sushupti state or the deep sleep state. Now my Thakur's brilliance is that through Ram Narayan Ram, my Thakur provides a very easy path to experience all the three forms of Tripti I have just mentioned in one go, and even in the Dehi state or the state of the Sthula Sharir. As the first Ram of Ram Narayan Ram is associated with the dream state, and the other Ram with the deep sleep state, with the Narayan in the middle as the Jagrata state. I mean to say, the Narayan in the middle, it is addressing the Jagrata state. Here my Thakur, in a brilliant move, has covered all the three states of consciousness and also the three states of Tripti or joy or blissfulness, whatever you may call it. He has addressed all the three states and stages of Tripti all at once with a single stroke. Well, here lies my Thakur's brilliance, and here lies the magnificent significance of Ram Narayan Ram, which my Thakur has given.